Hello friends, how are you all? Hope you are doing great at various aspects of your lives. India is the largest democracy in the world. The name India, however, is given by the foreigners. The original name is Bharat, and that's why it is officially written as Republic of India in English and Bharat Ganrajya in Hindi. The name Bharat is a tribute to the great king Bharat from the Chandravansh clan. He was the one who brought the concept of a nation and weaved the tapestry of various states into the nation, Bharat. This great king had great parents, and there is a lot written about them as well. His mother Shakuntala was the daughter of sage Vishwamitra, the first and only known Brahmin Brahmarshi, and celestial nymph Menaka, raised by sage Kanva. His father Dushyant or Dushyanta was a great king of Hastinapur who was a fantastic administrator and a ferocious warrior. If you want to know more about these characters, you should read The Legend of Parshuram by Dr. Vinit Agarwal and Vishwamitra, the man who dared to challenge the gods by the same author, Dr. Vinit Agarwal. The stories are related to Mahabharat or Mahabharata, as it was Bharat whose descendants fought the great war of Mahabharat against each other. Today, however, let us talk about the epic love story of Shakuntala and Dushyant explored by author Ashok Kumar Benkar in the form of a short story. Let us take a look at the book cover. How many times have you experienced that you are attracted to a book simply by its cover? Well, when you are exploring a large display of books, it is the cover page that comes into your eye contact, right? And it makes the first impression which lasts for long. Of course, the cover page is and should not be considered as the only factor to judge a book. You, however, cannot ignore its influence on the purchase and reading decisions too. The cover page of this book is fairly attractive. It has illustrations of Dushyant and Shakuntala in an intimate pose. Actually, the author has penned 5 books in Epic Love Stories series, and you can find a large number of similarities in the illustrations of the character in all of them. This is the first book in the series in terms of reading order. The characters are not facing each other, but still you can feel they are looking at and thinking about each other. The illustration of lotus flowers and other stuff shouts that it is a snapshot taken from their meeting at a beautiful natural place near Sage Kanva's ashram in the jungle. An impressive cover page, I can say. It all starts with one of the hunting escapades of Dushyant, the king of Hastinapur. It was the favorite time pass or hobby of the king and many more yet to be born in his lineage. This hunting experience was really fantastic in the beginning and it raised the adrenaline in the king. And in the ecstasy, he got deeper and deeper into the jungle. But everything doesn't go as per the plan, and that is why we call it a fate. The jungle keeps getting denser and denser, and eventually the sources of water started disappearing. The sun is also playing its role, and the king was reluctant to find water by getting even deeper in the jungle. It resulted in thinning his convoy, including men and animals both. And he himself was also in the desperate need of water, the primary source of life after the air. When he was about to lose all hopes, he found a beautiful place, a jungle within the jungle. It is a charming place where he saw hunting and hunted animals drinking water together from a source. Here, no one is a predator and no one is a prey. And he meets with Shakuntala there. But how? And what would be the outcome of their meeting? How a chain of incidents started from here and how it is resulted in then they have lived together ever after moment? You can read this fictional book to get the answers. When you write about anything related to Mahabharata or Mahabharata or any other Indian epic, you are tempted to cover many things, points, and aspects from many stories from different timelines. The author, however, has wisely drawn a boundary and remained focused on the incidents directly connected to the love story of both the protagonists, Shakuntala and Dushyant. Everything and everyone else took a back seat, and that works in favor of the book. The author is good at exploring nature convincingly. In this short ebook, he shows both the sides of nature, the beauty and the anger. No, there is no natural calamities explored in the book, but whatever happened in the jungle with the king and his convoy is something very similar we are experiencing slowly in the current time, and possibly a harsh future is waiting for us if we don't understand now. Anyway, let us stick to the book and let me share the lines I found really fascinating when it comes to showing the anger of the jungle. The forest had its revenge on the invading force. The river beds were parched, the ponds dry. Not a drop of water was to be found for miles and miles. Search as they may, they could find no trace of water running or still. Surely the animals must take their thirst somehow. But the animals could not speak, nor did the forest yield its secret. The very idea of considering the forest as a character is amazing. For a storyteller, it is always a challenge to explore the attributes of a character. On a cinema or TV screen, it is easy to convey such a thing, but representing them using words is definitely a tough thing. Ashok Bankar, the author, explores the persona of the male protagonist through nice lines like, his enemies feared him enough to show great respect and avoid confrontation. Those that were foolish enough to oppose him in battle met with devastation and ruin, and were massacred or enslaved. And at the same time, the innocence of the female protagonist is explored beautifully in the lines, Shakuntala shook her head. I do not know of this Gandharva marriage. I am unaware of such matters. How can I agree independently? I ask you again, wait until my father returns. Ask him for my hand in marriage. If he consents, I shall not refuse you. See how infatuated yet hesitated she is. She is in the dilemma where she wants to trust the king, but her conscience says her to wait for her father's consent. Her father is the only person, or for that matter, for any girl, her father is the only person whom she is looking as an icon and most trustable person. And when the father sees wisdom and selflessness in his child, even during the toughest of the times, he feels very proud, both for the child and the fact that he or she is his creation or his extension, to say it better. The author brings this emotion beautifully and in his mind he thought, this is truly my daughter. Even at such a moment, she did not ask for anything for herself, only for her husband. Dushyant is a lucky man to have her as his wife. We have heard many a times that love is blind. Actually, it prevents one to view the things as is. It is because one wants to believe that someone he or she cares for actually cares for him or her at the same extent, if not more. Same happened with Shakuntala when she was waiting eagerly and desperately for Dushyant. The author explores her feelings as her mind always found some way to rationalize and justify the delay, never once blaming him for the lapse. It was never Dushyant who was at fault, merely circumstances, or weight of kingship, or some unknown cause. It is a book, like many of them from ancient Indian literature in their original form, which reflects the real idea of women empowerment. The pseudo-feminists need to learn a lot about the real meanings of gender unbias and other stuff. Shakuntala was an empowered woman. Of course, she grew up under the wings of sage Karnava and she has the worthy bloodline, but it is her own conviction, dedication, intelligence, commitment and wisdom that makes her so. So I will suggest you not to miss a single word uttered by her in the court of Hastinapur. When she argued for dharma and other stuff, her words are simple yet loaded. For example, not for nothing is Yama, lord of dharma as well as death. Also, the author brilliantly explains her position in the court. She was an island of dharma in an ocean of injustice. I like the following segments as well. The swan, on the other hand, seeks to separate milk from water to drink it. Similarly, the wise seeks words of wisdom and quality when listening to other people speak. They ignore bad or ignoble words and phrases and pluck out only for good, separating them from the rest like wheat from the chaff. Fools take great pleasure in berating wise men. Wise men keep silent when confronted by fools, choosing rather to walk away than engage them in puerile arguments. It is a fact of life that the truly evil person always insists that he is truly good and that those who are genuinely good are truly evil. The author's depiction for true love comes up quite effectively in the book. Even in exile, a wife refreshes her husband when all else is lost. And yes, the way the circumstances force a person to change in entirety is mentioned in simple words like, "Thus did kingship change men from flesh and blood to iron and gold, with hearts of steel." If I had to choose only one line from the book that is philosophical yet realistic, I would go for, "The honest person is always predictable, for he or she will always do what is right." So by now you must have got an idea about the quality of writing in the book. The characters are well defined and gradually they show different layers. Some readers may think the author has tried to favor Dushyant by giving logical reasons and enabling him to justify what he did. The book and all of the 5 books in the series are filled in with Shringar Ras. Of course, the author keeps a fine line and never let it be erotica, but consent is required to read it. Love stories are meant to be explored by the mature, especially mentally, people anyway. I bought it during a book promotion and thus it is the best value for money for me, and I will suggest you to look for various offers. By the way, we regularly share it on our social media handles as well. So follow us on social media and probably you will find the best time to purchase it. So, what is the conclusion? Overall, it is a swift read that takes you to the journey of ancient times. If you already know, and you must, the story of Dushyant and Shakuntala, then also you will love exploring this version. Thinkerview's rating around 7.5 to 8 stars out of 10. So, have you already read the book? Are you planning to read it? What do you think about this book review? Do you find it helpful in deciding whether to go for the book or not? Please do share your genuine remarks via comments below. If you have enjoyed listening to the review, please hit the like button and do not forget to share it with your friends and other fellows whom you think such reviews interest more. Till we meet with our next podcast, bye bye, take care, namaskar.